Nigeria is a country where everything is trying to kill you. From no electricity, no power, no good roads, even healthcare is like in shambles. So a lot of people in Nigeria do not actually like love God, truly. They only are there in church, practicing Christianity because of what they stand to gain from God, because of the benefits that are involved in being a Christian. When tested for their love of God, so many people fall short. And I don't blame them because Nigeria is set up for you to die. Every single day you're out of your house, you're literally hoping not to die. So the gap has to be filled by Christianity. It has to be filled by church.
Using myself and my experience in Nigeria as an example, I would say that there was no other option than to be a devoted Christian and a spiritual person, born again. There was it was a conviction that I already had in my heart that this is the way forward. Like, this is just the way to get me out of this hole. And mind you, and just to add that I wasn't only doing that because of the benefits involved, because of what I stand to gain from God, but I genuinely loved God in Nigeria. But what I'm saying is, it's inevitable not to, because of the circumstances that you're surrounded by. So it's like, if it's not God, then what else? Something like that. So what else? Am I going to turn to the government? Am I going to turn to... There is actually nothing to turn to. There is nowhere to go. So in Nigeria, it was either God or nothing. Honestly, when I hear that there are atheists in Nigeria, I find it very difficult to believe because the chances are very slim. It's different because, number one, not just that you need God, like the circumstances obviously prove that you need God, but also you grew up in church. Basically, like 90% of Nigerian Christians, their parents took them to church when they were little. So, like, you didn't get to say no. Like, you didn't get to have a choice on whether you wanted to go to church or not. It's either you go to church or you don't go to church. Like, you go to church. Like, there is no two ways about it. So, we grew up in church. You know, I remember my parents taking me to church. You know, I remember us doing devotions morning and night. Even till now, that hasn't changed. We still pray morning and night. And I find that is also similar to so many Nigerians and how they grew up in Nigeria, like basically doing devotions, taking turns praying in church, and all of that. So that lifestyle is already kind of inculcated into you that like this is the way to go. So even when you're living on your own, and even when you like backslide or you fall astray or you become an adult and you're beginning to discover like this, there are so many things to life. You're beginning to discover who you are. You're beginning to become self-aware. At some point in your journey as a Christian, you're still going to circle back to what you learned as a child. It's actually quite different here. People don't grow up in church here compared to how we grew up in church in Nigeria. Here is more like free will, like do whatever you want to do. Or people will say your child would eventually discover who they are when they, get to a certain level. Don't push your religion down their throat. And that is, of course, amongst the non-Nigerian or non-African community. Like, they are the ones that uphold these statements. Like, a child has the right to choose, all of those things that we don't hear often in Nigeria, that a child has a right. Like, what? Anywho, that they are strongly upheld here, that a child has a right to choose what religion or whatever. And why I decided to make this post is because of a video. Will I say a video? Not a video, actually. A post that I saw online. And in that post, it was basically a mom coming to ask in a group where I belong, like a Calgary group, where I belong to, and the mom was saying, oh, my son has questions about church and wants to go to church. What do I do? Like, and obviously the parents are not, like, they are just there. They are not Christians. They are not religious. They're just there. And people in the group were like advising the mom, okay, if maybe your child is asking to go to church because they have a friend that goes to church and they have a friend that goes to Sunday school, and they'll basically come to school and talk about it. So why don't you allow your child to tag along with his friend to go to church, and then if he likes it, he can continue going. And this is the kind of conversations that we don't have in Nigeria. Like, you never see someone, a mom, coming in an open group to ask, oh, my child is interested in going to church, like, what do I do? Like, you can tell the kind of backlash the post is already going to have if someone like comes to an open group and asks that kind of question. Like, everybody will be in the comment section insulting them, basically. So it doesn't really happen here. It doesn't really happen back home that a mom would ask that kind of question. But in Canada, things are different. Like, a lot of people will tell you that here, people don't go to church. People don't care about religion. People are not that spiritual. People are, free. It's a free land. You're allowed to choose whatever you want to do. And I've had a lot of Nigerians, also another reason why I decided to post this video. I've had a lot of Nigerians say certain things like, oh, like, some of them are in Nigeria still and some are here. Some people in Nigeria will say, oh, well, this kind of church that people are doing here in Nigeria, they don't do it abroad. Or they will say, see the way that pastors are doing this and that, they don't do it abroad. And it's geared towards saying that Nigerians pray too much, Nigerians are too religious, but abroad they are not like that, Anyway, there is some truth in that, but I'll have you know that why people are not like that here are because Canadians or people in the Western world, they are generally trained to be decent. Like, their morals include decency, like basic decency, that someone leaves their bag on the bus, or someone leaves their phone or some other valuables on the bus, and you can immediately call the transit and tell them that you left this and that, and they would help you keep it. Okay. And I remember one incident when I recently came here. I left my purse on the bus and I forgot it, and I came down from the bus, and that purse had my valuables, like my card, like all my bank cards were in the purse. My bus pass was also in the bus. So I was panicking, like I thought I had lost it. I immediately called the bank to cancel my cards, but then my Nigerian cards were still in that purse. So I was like, I wonder who is going to find it and start using my details to buy things online. So I was panicking. I was like in full mode. I was having an anxiety. So I immediately texted someone who something similar has happened to. She was like, oh, don't mind. Don't worry about it. Like, you're going to find it and nobody's going to take it. Nobody's going to take away your valuables or your stuff from there. So I was like, oh, okay. That actually like brought some kind of comfort to me. So I was like, okay, since nothing is going to happen to it, I'm going to call transit and tell them that I left my purse on the bus and tell them like the details of the bus that I entered. And yeah, funnily enough, when I went back to transit office to get my purse, it was just right there, like the way that I left it, like nothing was missing. All my ID cards, my bank cards, everything was still in there. So, and because people are decent here, there are basically things that they wouldn't, like in their natural state, do. I am not saying that crime doesn't exist here, or there is like total absence of crime, people don't steal things. That's not true. People still steal. People still steal here. Like, people take your packages in front of your door. Those kind of things happen. But what I'm saying is, like, like a basic human decency is found here. And those things that you normally pray in Nigeria about, like, oh, let there be light when I get home, I don't want the road to be too flooded, I don't want it to rain today so that the road is not going to be too flooded for me to get home, I don't want my car to be stolen, I don't want my phones to be stolen, all those things that you consider yourself praying about in Nigeria, like basic security. The government already provides it here. Like, I don't have to pray that there is light when I get home. If there is no power, like if there is no light at home, I'm going to get some kind of notice that my light is going to be cut off for some time, and they are going to give me like a specific duration. Like, this is from this time to this time, there will be no power, so you get ready, so be prepared. I remember when that happened, they told us, they actually sent out notice to us that there is going to be like a power outage. So we like planned for that day. We were going to charge our phones, we were going to go to the library, like we planned like a whole thing around it. So like it wasn't like I wasn't affected badly by it. So the thing is those things that we usually like pray about in Nigeria, we don't pray about it here. It's actually here that your love for God is being tested. Like, are you going to love God when you have all these things? Are you going to still love God? Are you going to still serve God when you're not surrounded by circumstances that like literally want to have you dead? The truth still remains that you actually do need God here in Canada, even more in Canada than in Nigeria, and I'll explain why. These are my reasons. I mean, like, these are my opinions. So first of all, you're here in Canada. I'm speaking for like the average person that relocated from Africa or from Nigeria to Canada or from wherever to this place. This is not like your homeland. You don't have family here. You don't have any ancestral heritage here. So here you're like all alone. No matter if you came with your spouse, if you came with your children or your family members, you're basically like one nuclear family and you're all alone here. So you need God more here than you do in Nigeria, where your family is at your beck and call. Like, if you get into trouble, like, you have one or two or more people to call and tell them, hey, this is what's going on, and somehow the person that you can call knows someone else that they can call to like get you out of trouble. But here it's very different. First of all, you come here and you're trying to find your feet. You're trying to, get a job so that you can pay your bills, because the bills are not waiting for anybody. Whether you get a job or not, the bills are going to be there. So you're basically like trying to hustle these things out. And imagine getting into trouble with the police or with the government because, maybe you did something and you get into trouble. Who are you going to call? Like, what are you going to do? You're basically on your own. So that is where God comes in. You need God here more than ever because you don't have anybody. It's only God, basically. You have all these things. You have good roads. You have good a working system that ensures that you're okay. You're living fine, but at the same time, you don't have anybody to call in the times of trouble. And remember, in that passage that God says, like, he's a present help in the time of trouble. I have experienced that promise come to pass several times here than I have in Nigeria, because God really is the ever-present help in the time of trouble here in Canada. So that's one of the reasons. Secondly, there is something that my favorite pastor would always say, Bishop T.D. Jakes. He would say, new levels, new devils. So the fact that you have escaped Nigeria does not mean that you're not going to get new problems. You're going to get different problems in a higher level that would basically disturb your peace. So yeah, you're praying about those things. You're praying for friends. You're praying for the right people. You're praying not to be scammed by people that you trust the most, because what are you going to do? So yeah, and then because in this place, I don't know how, I've described this place a lot of times previously, but I also want to point out this thing that people do when they come here. Basically are saying, you're trying to hide the fact that you're Christian. You're not trying to talk about it because you don't know how people are going to perceive you. And I agree, this problem is also sort of existing also in Nigeria. But I want to give you an example. Again, that group that I belong to, that I told you guys about, in that Facebook group, someone came and commented, and the person said, I recently moved to Calgary and I am looking for people that are soothsayers, people that are divinators or witches, people that practice witchcraft, and people that do card reading and sort of like things like that. And people under the comment section were referring the person to where they can find groups of people that do the same things that they do. Try hanging out at so place, you're sure to meet people, right? But now it got me thinking, if this person that is practicing witchcraft already had the boldness to come and say, I am looking for certain groups of people that also practice witchcraft, who am I as a Christian who am I? What am I doing with my Christianity that I will not boldly proclaim that Jesus is Lord? I will not boldly proclaim that I'm saved or I am born again. It doesn't make sense that people that are witches and wizards are saying that they are witches in public. They are using their Facebook page to announce that they are witches and they are wizards. They have Facebook groups and all of that. But you, as a Christian, you're trying to hide the fact that you don't want people to know that you're Christian. Basically, what the Bible is saying, that the Bible actually proclaims that we are lights to this generation. And our light is supposed to shine. And actually, that's what reminds me about the devotion that I and my husband had this morning. And it was basically saying that you're light. You're supposed to shine. You're not supposed to go and hide your light under the bushel. And the thing is, we misinterpret the scripture. I am in a full preacher mode right now. But this is actually important. This is an important conversation to have. Because when we talk about being lights as Christians, we are always saying our light is directed to somewhere else. I'm light. I'm supposed to shine in creative industries. I'm supposed to be the number one here. I'm supposed to be recognized in my industry. That is the only definition of light that we know. But the light that we are also talking about is light that shines through, that people recognize you as a Christian. They are not supposed to be guessing, is she a Christian? Is she religious? By the words that are coming out of your mouth, people should already tell beforehand that, she's different. She's a Christian. They are not supposed to be guessing. That's what light. You don't guess light. If you come into a dark room and turn on the light, you're not guessing whether the light is on or not. The light is on. The light illuminates the entire room. So you see, it's there. It's obviously doing something there. So somebody is not supposed to be guessing, is she this? Is she that? They should know. By your fruits, by your seeds. Okay, so I guess this is where I'm going to end this video. So for people that in Nigeria are saying, are people even fasting? People, when beginning of the year and someone is doing a 21-day fast, someone comes to the comment section and say, the Nigerians, we pray too much, we fast too much. Here, people fast. People go on Daniel's fast. People do all sorts of prayers here. For goodness sake, there are spirit-filled Christians, tongue-speaking here, that are working miracles. There is power, you can feel it from them. So it's not about Nigerian environment. It's happening here as well. And you should open your mind to these things, that when you come here, you don't dump your religion at the altar, sacrifice your Christianity and say, I'm coming here to work. I'm coming here because I don't want to forget where I'm coming from. Of course you're coming here to work. Of course you're coming here to make a living. But do not sacrifice your Christianity at the altar of money, at the altar of Canadian dollars. All those things are going to pass away one day, please. So don't do that. I'm just going to walk around the park and I'm going to end this video here. I don't know if you've not yet subscribed to this channel and you found this video helpful, please subscribe, share this video across your friends and yeah, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I am actually toying with the idea of doing a vlogmas, and I don't know how that is going to happen, because I don't even have the ideas, but I'm trying to come up with as many as I can. Since this vlogmas and it's supposed to be going up every single day, I'm trying to get into it, but I need ideas. I need things to talk about. I need things to film about. So yeah, bye.